Welcome back to NBC3 News at 5:30. You know, the Healthy Pet Clinic survived a soggy Sunday and served 130 dogs and cats in Syracuse's north side. You know who that is, by the way? That's Anna Fabrizio. She lost her husband in the fire on Core Street. She stopped by. We gave her a few donations, and also she had a chance to pet some of the cute puppies. The dogs got licensed. They received information at low-cost spay and neuter. And really a successful day. We appreciate the families who brought out their pets to get that care on Syracuse's north side. Not the only pet-related or dog-related story in the news, though, tonight. We're also talking about the Jamesville shelter, the dog shelter, the Jamesville pen. This was the groundbreaking going back a couple of weeks ago. Wayne and I were there along with a county executive. The kennel will allow prison inmates to bond with dogs as part of their rehab programs.
Yeah, it would also help stray dogs find homes and save them from being euthanized. But the big question remains, what should we call that new facility? Onondaga County Executive Jody Mahoney is here with us tonight. We've got some great names picked out.
We do. We heard from the public. They sent in their suggestions, and we've narrowed it down to 5. But there were some very interesting suggestions.
I'd almost like to see the list that didn't make the finals.
Right.
You know, that's probably entertaining to some degree, isn't it? Creative.
There were a couple that I thought were very creative. K911.
That's cute.
Right, with the K9 and the 911. And then there was one, Pen Pals, which everyone liked, but I think the name is being used by another facility because of the Jamesville Penitentiary, Pen Pals.
Right, so you maybe a little trademark copyright issue that you don't need to get into.
Right, right.
But here are the finals. Let's throw the graphic up, and County Executive Mahoney, why don't you talk us through them? In fact, you have them right there on your list, and we're going to see them here too.
I do. We have Barksville, which, as you know, it's Jamesville, so Barksville is playing off that name. On a dog shelter for Onondaga County. Pen Paws.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Rough House.
Rough House and Second Chance.
And Second Chance, which is a second chance for the dogs and a second chance for the inmates.
We were kind of quietly talking about this before we went on, and I'm feeling Rough House. I don't want to influence the vote,
I like that.
But I feel like that's one that might stick, and it would just roll off the tongue. Which one you liked? On a dog shelter?
I like the connection to Onondaga County. I think that's cute. What do you like?
Are you endorsing, or you're not allowed to do that?
Oh, I'm not really endorsing, but I kind of like Second Chance. I think it's it's an adoption facility, and it's real right, and it brings in the people and the dogs.
Yeah,
I like
it's a good idea. And it's the idea for the program is really what's important. How long till you're expecting it to be open?
Just a few more months, as you showed in the graphic. It's a pretty simple building. It was designed for dogs, and we have a model that we can already work with because we have a pheasant program there. So we already have security guards that bring inmates out, and it's going to be an incentive for good behavior because we know from looking around at other facilities like this across the country that the inmates really want to participate.
Yeah.
I bet.
And we're hoping that there's a possibility that even some of the inmates might end up with adopting some of these dogs.
Yes, once they're back out in the rest of the real world.
They're not there for very long at Jamesville.
Right, it's a fairly short stay. We want to let people know how this is working, though. The community has 2 weeks or so to vote now. So the voting closes on June 12th, and then the county executive's back here on June 15th, where we're going to announce the winner. And I know, Wayne's an animal lover too. Maybe we should do that out on the weather deck. What do you think?
I'm in.
On a day not like today,
yeah,
though.
definitely.
Wayne's going to promise a sunny day. We'll head out to the weather deck and we'll talk about this too. We don't have a lot more time, but while you're here, we talked to you a couple weeks ago about the amphitheater. How's that coming? And have you picked the concert yet?
We have not yet picked the concert, but we have a pretty good list that we're working with. There was a list of top 10 shows in the country this year, and none of them was coming to Syracuse. So that's really made us excited about what we're going to be able to do with this new amphitheater. But as you showed your viewers, Matt, that was a great piece that you did to show people we're on target, and we will have a concert at the end of the summer during the state fair period, and then more work will be done on the park, and the full facility will be open in the spring of next year.
All right, just quickly before we let you go, what do you say to the people who look at the grandstand? We don't have many acts this year, just one, and say, is this sort of what we're going to see at the amphitheater?
That's why we need the amphitheater. If you ask the artists, they don't want to play at the grandstand. The facility is really worn out. It wasn't designed for the acts. The state fair spends $500,000 building a stage there. We're going to have a permanent facility that artists want to play in.
It's going to be exciting.
Looking forward to it.
We'll be at the end of the summer. But first, we're going to take care of the dog shelter at Jamesville Pen and naming. I'm going to vote for Rough House. I only get one vote.
And I'll be back to tell you on June 15th.
Okay.
All right, well,
thank you.
Thank you.
County Executive Jody Mahoney.